Then we come to the final presentation on Thursday to wrap things up, and that is Disney's presentation. And, the Hollywood Reporter this morning put out an article that they're expecting, they've got some whispers and some word that Disney is going to go full blown this year, including a major presentation for Avengers Doomsday.
Oh,
Rob,
yeah.
you and I, let's get to that in a second. Let me just keep running down. So we got obviously Avengers Doomsday. We got Mandalorian, which we've got the number one most anticipated film of the summer, according to film fans, Toy Story 5.
Yep.
It's coming. We got the Moana live action, which I didn't like the trailer, but you're kidding yourself if you don't think this movie's going to make a ton of money. Here's the other thing. I've heard this. We can take this to the bank. Star Wars Starfighter. They are going to be on stage talking about Star Wars Starfighter.
Yeah, I would imagine cashing in on the Project Hail Mary, getting Gosling up there.
100%. So it comes out like the month after the next CinemaCon.
Yeah,
so I think that's
May 28th.
Right.
Of 2017.
They're going to be talking about Star Wars Starfighter. I fully expect we're going to get our first look at some footage on there. We got Devil Wears Prada 2, which is going to be one of the biggest films of the year. Yeah, I mean, those are just the ones I just kind of jotted down off the top of my head so just look at this lineup: Avengers Doomsday, Mandalorian, Toy Story 5, Moana, Starfighter, Prada 2, and I'm sure there are going to be a few others. So Rob, let's start with the main one here, obviously. Let's start with the big one here. Avengers Doomsday. So now Hollywood Reporter is saying that they're expecting them to do something pretty big with Avengers Doomsday.
Chair watch 2, buddy. Come on.
It's just going to be Chair watch 2. So there's two things. Actually, there's three things. Three things I'm expecting for Avengers Doomsday. One is a trailer. Now, I have, just to be clear, I am not reporting there's going to be a trailer. I'm just expecting it. I'm expecting there's going to be a trailer. There may not be. Nobody's told me that there is. I mean, I've heard other people believe there's going to be one too, but I'm expecting we're going to get a trailer. So that's one thing. And then that trailer, once it drops, will then be released online like an hour later, 2 hours later, 5 minutes later, whatever. They'll release it online after the presentation. The second thing I'm expecting is some full footage that they don't release online. Like they always do. They'll show us 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 15 minutes. I don't know. But Disney likes to go big at these things. Remember, they gave us full screenings of Shang-Chi. They showed us like the first 35 minutes of Doctor Strange. They always go pretty big. So that's the second thing. First thing, I'm expecting a trailer that will be released to the public later. Second thing, I'm expecting some sets of footage that we're going to get that they won't release online. And the third thing is I'm expecting to get some finality on the question of, are they going to move from December 18th to December 11th to take advantage of those open IMAX screens? I'm willing to bet $2 that they are going to do it. I wouldn't bet $20, but I'd bet $2 that they are going to do it and announce the move to that. So let's just kind of focus on Doomsday here for a second, Rob. What are you expecting and hoping we might see at the Doomsday presentation on Thursday?
I think they're going to do a star-studded extravaganza presentation. And if you were to ask me, yeah, I think they'll probably unveil a trailer. But I also think that they'll show us the first 10 or 15 minutes of the movie. And the reason that I say that is because the opening of the film has been reported on quite a bit. So, from what we know of the actual structure of the film, I think by showing us, there's three things that I think would be seen in the beginning of the movie. Obviously, the cold open action scene that kind of sets up what's going on. And then depending on how it's cut together or whatever, you're going to see some character introductions that will only leave you intrigued. So it's all set up. And I think they can get away with that, and they will leave people's jaws on the floor. And that's what they need to do.
Yeah, I think they are going to. I think CinemaCon is going to be the beginning of their campaign to make Avengers Doomsday the topic of conversation between now and December.
Yes.
And I think it kicks off on Thursday when
also
they do
because
that.
I think that there's also they're combating, I mean, not with the general population, but within certain circles that have been writing every day, reporting on things. There are things that, spoilers and this, that, and the other thing. I think what they are going to do is I think they need to present the tone of they did that with the first 4 those releases.
Yeah,
and they gave you a taste of what's the stories and all that. But what's really cool at the beginning of, if I dare say without spoiling anything, I really like the structure of the first 30 minutes of the movie. If I knew about what that structure was, but let's say I do, I really liked how they do it's all set up, because it's crack. If you're fans of the MCU and all that, it's just one giant hit of crack cocaine for the imagination, one right after another. And if they show us that kind of thing, the audience is going to be like, whoa, they're going to be freaking out. And again, it comes down to the characters and the interplay and all of that. And I think people are going to go bananas.
Yeah,
they're going to go. That aren't necessarily the theater owners, that people have to understand, these are not the hardcore movie followers of movie blogs and watch YouTube. They're theater owners. And what Disney has to show them is the experiential event of the year is going to be Avengers Doomsday. Check it out. Don't take our word for it. Have a taste.
Yeah, they want to get the theaters excited. Now, I've seen some people in the live chat saying things, well, no, they're going to save a lot of stuff for D23 and Comic-Con. Guys, D23 and Comic-Con are fan events.
Yes.
Those are where fans go. They do not hold anything back that they want to show at CinemaCon, because that's for the theater owners. Now, I'm sure there's going to be some stuff they show us at CinemaCon that they'll also show at one of the fan events, whether that's D23 or Comic-Con, for sure. But they're also going to show us a bunch of stuff that is just for the theater owners. They're going to show us a bunch of stuff that is not going to be released to the public. They do that every year.
And I also think,
go ahead.
I think they're going to talk about cast. That's
for sure. 100%.
I joke about Chair Watch, but remember, this movie was supposed to come out. It was going to come out this summer. They pushed it back, I don't know, 6 months or a year. So what they're going to want to do is they're going to want to say, look who's in this movie.
Yeah.
And this isn't fans. I mean, the theater owners are the people that are going to want to, and let's say Doomsday, let's say they stand, I believe, like you do, they're going to announce that they've moved a week earlier, which they would love to tell the theater owners, because right now there's nothing coming out on that day, according to release schedules. So you've got an empty day in December.
Because it was going to be Jumanji.
Yeah. So now you have an empty day in December when people are coming home from school. Theater owners don't want that. So the greatest thing, can you imagine when they come out and one of the first things they're going to say is they've moved up Doomsday a week? Theater owners are going to go bananas. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's Robert Downey Jr. who walks out and makes some Dr. Doom joke and he says, you know what I've done? I've used my power and I'm releasing this movie a week early or whatever. It's going to be great, whatever the presentation is going to be. And I wouldn't be surprised, dude, if they bring every single cast member out on stage, every one of them. And because it'd be
that's insane. A lot of people to fly in,
but it would be insane. I mean,
yeah, well, Thunderbolts, they brought the whole cast out at Thunderbolts. Yeah. I mean, look, okay. So guaranteed Robert Downey Jr. will be there. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
I think
Chris Evans.
I think guaranteed Chris Evans is going to be there. I think guaranteed Chris Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth is there every year, promoting all the different stuff that he's doing. But I don't know. Wouldn't it be funny if they brought out like 15 people
or more?
I mean, that's. Whew.
Oh. I mean, even characters, secondary characters that don't have big parts but are in the movie that people don't really know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's gonna.
Some people are asking about Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige's always there. Yeah, Kevin Feige
Yeah.
will definitely be there. He'll be out there to do that whole part of the presentation. Okay, let's move off Doomsday for a second and look at some of the other things that we've got lined up here for the Disney presentation.
And Mandalorian's first up. It's of their movies. That's the first movie that comes out. So it comes out next month, May 22nd.
Yep. So Mandalorian, Toy Story 5, Moana, Starfighter, and Prada 2. Guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of today's video, Mando. Spring is in the air, and I gotta tell you, I am pumped to get back outside and start using the pool more. But let's be honest, warmer weather also means one thing: sweat. That's why I've been using Mando whole body deodorant, and guys, this stuff is amazing. Now look, I've tried a lot of deodorants over the years, but Mando is different because you can literally use it anywhere. I'm talking pits, chest, feet, even those hard to reach areas. And what surprised me the most is how well it actually works. So for me, what I personally love the most, it doesn't just cover up odor, it actually stops it before it starts. Mando was created by a doctor who saw how normal body odor was being misdiagnosed and mistreated, and they built this to actually solve the problem. It's clinically proven to control odor for up to 72 hours, and I can tell you from using it, it delivers. So here's the deal, guys. Don't just mask it. Mando it. Head to shopmando.com and get 20% off with my code CAMPEA. That's code CAMPEA at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide. Again, go to shopmando.com, use the code CAMPEA, and get 20% off. Support the show and stay fresh out there. Trust me, Mando's got you covered. So I expect that they're going to talk about Mandalorian. I have a feel they'll probably have Dave Filoni, and I forget the co-president's name now. Oh, I'm forgetting her name.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so I fully expect that the two heads, Dave Filoni and this girl whose name I'm freezing on right now, and probably Jon Favreau will come out on stage, and they'll talk about Mandalorian and Grogu probably first, and also Starfighter. They'll bring up Sean. Why am I forgetting the director's name?
Sean Levy.
Sean Levy. Ryan Gosling is always at CinemaCon, so I won't doubt they'll come on. With Mandalorian being so close, Rob, I'm thinking a full 10, 15 minutes. They're gonna show us like a full 10, 15 minutes of Mandalorian, and because it's so close.
You'll have Pedro Pascal will be there because he'll be there also for Doomsday. You'll have Sigourney Weaver, I'm sure, will be there. And they might have.
Do you know that's the first place I ever met Sigourney Weaver? Was at CinemaCon. My very first interview with her ever was at CinemaCon. It was like one of my great.
And thrills. Jeremy Allen White, you know.
Yep.
They'll probably have him come out. I would imagine they'll do big presentations because they don't have that many movies, and the ones they have is just banger after banger after banger. You've got Mandalorian and Grogu leading into Toy Story 5 in June, Moana in July, Spider-Man, which will be part of the Sony presentation. They have Hexed coming out in November. But that's not a big deal. And Doomsday. So they really only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have 5 movies. And I would imagine if they're coming out like the trades are reporting, they're going to come out swinging. You think that Tom Hanks and Tim Allen aren't going to be there? Of course they are.
Yeah, for Toy Story. And then, of course, I mean, the one that nobody talks about is Devil Wears Prada 2, which is going to be one of the biggest films of the year.
But yeah, it's still Disney.
Right. That's still part of Disney's presentation.
And you'll have Emily Blunt, you'll have Anne Hathaway, and you're going to have the Street Monster come. Totally. And probably Stanley Tucci as well.
Oh, Stanley. I love Stanley Tucci, man. I love him so much. So there's going to be that. Now, the thing that I'm very curious about is how much of Starfighter they'll show us. Because they are finished principal photography on it, so they're done shooting it. I don't know how far they are into the post-production process, but I'm sure they have enough to give us like a 2-minute sizzle if they wanted to. Or, I mean, considering that there is going to be another CinemaCon prior to Starfighter coming out, maybe they only come out and talk about it. Maybe Sean Levy comes out, maybe show some still images and talk about it, or maybe they show some footage. What do you think?
I mean, I think they're going to do a Lucasfilm presentation. And those will be the 2 things that they talk about. So they'll break it out just like, so you'll have 20th Century Studios, you'll have Lucasfilm, Marvel, and Disney. So I would imagine that that's what they would do.
So what do you think they'll show us? Or like, will they just talk about Star? Because I think you and I both agree Sean Levy will be there to talk about it. Do you think they're just going to talk about it, or do you think they'll actually have some footage to show us?
I think they're going to show us like they did with Masters of the Universe, some kind of behind the scenes sizzle reel, which I like.
That was really good, by the way. That was great last year.
And they show us costumes and characters because no one really knows anything at all about Starfighter. Maybe Amy Adams will show up. I don't know. They might have the cast. And because that again is something that if you look at so after CinemaCon, the only things that Disney really has coming out is Ice Age. After Doomsday, they have Ice Age, they have Gato, and they have Starfighter. About Gato. Yeah. So that's the Black Cat story. And so they don't have a lot coming out before Starfighter.
But they got some big things. Like, here's the other thing too. Let's not sell Moana short, because again, Dwayne Johnson loves going to CinemaCon. We know he's going to come out for Jumanji. He'll probably come out for Moana.
100%. And they'll introduce the girl playing Moana, and the two of them will have fun banter. And
they have to, because honestly, that last trailer they put out didn't do them a lot of favors. So they're going to have to double down their efforts on promoting this film now to kind of, make up for some of the ground they lost from the last trailer. So I think they're going to come out, give a big thing on that. I think you're right. I think we're going to have Tom Hanks there for Toy Story 5, or maybe not. Maybe we'll just have the Pixar people there to talk about it. But yeah, I think a lot of their 2-hour frame, I think a good half hour of it is just going to be for Doomsday. I really do. Yeah. I think a good half hour of their 2-hour presentation is just going to be Doomsday, talking about it, bringing people out, showing a trailer, showing footage, all that kind of stuff. Then maybe a good 20 minutes for Mandalorian and Starfighter as a part of a Lucasfilm thing. And they got a lot of time, man. They got 2 hours up there and a lot of stuff to get through.
And only really 5 movies to talk about.
Well, Avengers, Mandalorian, Toy Story, Moana, Starfighter, Devil Wears Prada 2.
That's true. I keep forgetting Fox.
Yeah, because we keep forgetting they are now under Disney. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.